Before we dive into today's topic, I want to tell you about something that's changed how I approach pigeon health and performance. I run another channel called Pigeon Healthy where I share natural herbal treatment methods that most fanciers have never heard of. We're talking about plants and natural remedies that have powerful healing and performance-enhancing effects on pigeons. Things like specific herb combinations that boost immunity, natural treatments for respiratory diseases, plants that improve digestion and recovery after races, and natural alternatives to chemical medications. We cover pigeon diseases you might be struggling with right now: canker, respiratory infections, coccidiosis, worms, and show you exactly how to treat them using natural methods that actually work. No guessing. No expensive medications with side effects. Just proven herbal protocols used by top European lofts. If you're serious about keeping your birds healthy naturally and improving their performance without chemicals, go subscribe to Pigeon Healthy right now. The knowledge that could save you birds, save you money, and give you an edge your competition doesn't have. Now, let's get into today's topic. Saturday afternoon. Race day. You're standing in your yard watching birds arrive home from the 200-kilometer race. Your club mate started clocking birds 40 minutes ago. You've heard their calls on the radio. Multiple birds per loft arriving, entering traps, getting clocked. Good race. Fast times. You're anxious for your birds to arrive. Then you see one, coming from the race direction, flying strong, descending toward your street. It's definitely yours. You recognize the flight pattern. Relief floods through you. The bird circles your loft once, twice, descends lower. You're ready at the clock. Any second now. But the bird doesn't land on your landing board. It flies past your loft, circles wider, then lands on your neighbor's roof 2 houses down. You watch in frustration as your bird sits there, looking around, seemingly uncertain. 30 seconds pass. 1 minute. Your neighbor's birds are entering their trap, getting clocked. Your bird just sits on their roof. You call out. You whistle the feeding signal. Your bird ignores you or doesn't hear. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. Finally, after 5 agonizing minutes, your bird jumps off the neighbor's roof, flies back toward your loft, circles once more, and finally lands on your landing board. It walks around the board for another 30 seconds before entering the trap. You clock the arrival. 6 minutes slower than it should have been based on when the bird arrived in the area. 6 minutes. 40 to 60 positions lost in the race. Not because your bird flew slowly. Not because navigation was poor. Not because the bird wasn't fit. 6 minutes lost because your bird couldn't identify home quickly from the air and didn't enter the trap immediately upon landing. 6 minutes lost to poor trap discipline. This scenario is devastatingly common. Maybe the single most common cause of poor race positions that has nothing to do with actual flying ability. Birds arrive at the loft area with excellent time, then waste minutes landing on wrong roofs, hesitating before entering, circling excessively. The fancier watches helplessly as race position evaporates while the bird is literally meters from home, but failing to complete the final action, entering the trap. Poor trap discipline has 2 components. First is loft identification, the bird's ability to recognize which building is home from altitude and distance. We've covered this in previous videos about trap visibility and visual markers. Second component is trap entry speed, the time elapsed from when bird lands at a loft to when it actually enters a trap and triggers a timing system. Both components must be excellent for competitive racing success. Today we're focusing specifically on trap entry speed, how to train birds to enter the trap immediately upon landing without hesitation. Leo Heremans' quote, "Trap speed is more important than wing speed," reflects a reality that fast flying means nothing if the bird wastes time at the trap. A bird that flies at moderate velocity but traps in 3 seconds beats a bird that flies at high velocity but traps in 3 minutes. The clock measures trap entry time, not landing time. Every second between landing and entry is lost race position. Most fanciers assume trap discipline develops naturally through repeated training and racing. Birds learn where home is. They learn how to enter the trap, and discipline improves automatically with experience. This is partly true. Experience does help, but passive experience without active trap-specific training creates mediocre trap discipline. Birds learn eventually, but never reach the instant automatic trap entry that champions display. Active, systematic trap training creates excellent trap discipline much faster and more reliably than passive experience. The training isn't complicated. It doesn't require special equipment, but it does require understanding what motivates rapid trap entry and implementing specific protocols that build that motivation into reflexive behavior. Today we're covering the complete trap training system used by championship fanciers to build birds that enter traps within seconds of landing every time, without fail. We'll cover the physical setup that facilitates rapid entry, the training progression that teaches entry behavior, the motivational elements that drive urgency, and the maintenance practices that preserve trap discipline through the racing season. Let's start with the physical trap setup, because even perfect training can't overcome poor trap design or visibility. The trap entrance and landing board must be optimized for rapid identification and easy entry. First element is trap visibility and distinctiveness, as discussed extensively in previous videos. The trap entrance area must be painted in bright contrasting color, red, orange, yellow, or white, that stands out dramatically from surrounding buildings and landscape. This color should never fade. Repaint before racing season and maintain brightness through the season. Add movement markers like bright cloth or flags near the trap entrance. These visual elements allow bird to identify home instantly from altitude and distance, eliminating the search and circling time that kills race positions. Second element is landing board size and design. The landing board, the platform where birds land before entering the trap, must be large enough to provide stable landing surface, but not so large that birds can walk around extensively before entering. Ideal landing board is 30 to 50 centimeters wide and projects 20 to 30 centimeters from the loft wall. This gives birds adequate space to land comfortably, but naturally funnels them toward the trap entrance. The landing board surface should have slight texture, not perfectly smooth, to give birds secure footing. Smooth surfaces can be slippery, causing birds to hesitate or reposition before entering. Slightly textured surface, with grain, light sanding, shallow grooves, provides secure footing that enables immediate confident entry. Third element is trap entrance size and design. The trap opening must be large enough that bird can enter easily without threading through a tight space. Small trap openings create hesitation because birds must aim precisely and commit to a confined entry. Larger openings within reasonable limits allow casual, confident entry. The ideal trap entrance is approximately 15 to 20 centimeters tall and 20 to 30 centimeters wide. This accommodates pigeons of various sizes comfortably. Some fanciers use even larger openings. Experiment to find what works best for your birds, but err toward larger rather than smaller. The trap mechanism itself, whether barbed wires, Sputniks, or other designs, must operate smoothly without resistance or noise that might startle birds. Test the mechanism repeatedly. Birds should be able to enter with minimal force. The mechanism should move silently and return to position smoothly. Any resistance, sticking, or noise creates negative association that can cause hesitation. Fourth element is scent profile at the trap entrance. This is subtle but important detail that most fanciers completely miss. Birds use olfaction as one of multiple identification cues. The trap entrance area should smell like the loft interior, familiar and reassuring center home. Some fanciers maintain small piece of loft material, old cloth, wood shaving, or feed bag, just inside the trap entrance where birds smell it as they approach and enter. This familiar scent reinforces that this entrance leads to home. It's psychological comfort that encourages immediate entry rather than hesitation. Conversely, avoid cleaning the trap area with strong-smelling chemicals. Some fancier scrub traps with soap or disinfectant, removing all natural scent and replacing it with chemical odor. Birds approaching the trap smell chemicals instead of familiar loft scent. This creates subtle uncertainty that can cause hesitation. Clean the trap mechanically with brush and water if needed, but avoid strong chemicals that alter scent profile. With optimal physical trap setup in place, now we can implement effective trap training. The training progresses through specific stages building from basic entry behavior to rapid reflexive entry. Stage 1 is introduction and positive association, typically implemented with young birds starting loft flying, but also applicable to older birds that need trap discipline improvement. The goal is establishing that entering the trap leads to positive outcomes. Day 1 through 3. Keep the trap open and easily visible. Place feed inside the loft near the trap entrance, not deep inside but close to the entrance where birds can see it from outside. When birds are flying outside and want to eat, they see feed visible through the trap entrance. They enter to access the feed. Entry leads immediately to positive reward. Some fanciers take this further by placing small amount of favorite feed, maybe hemp seed or sunflower, which most birds love, directly on the landing board or just inside the trap entrance. Birds land, immediately find highly desired feed, and enter to get more. This creates powerful positive association between landing at trap and receiving reward. Don't overdo this. You're not trying to make bird dependent on finding feed at the trap. You're creating initial positive association. After 3 to 5 days of feed rewards at trap entrance, discontinue the practice. Birds have learned entry leads to good things. They don't need continuing food placement at trap to maintain that association. During this introduction stage, observe which birds enter quickly and confidently versus which bird hesitate or avoid the trap. Birds that enter readily are demonstrating natural good trap discipline that you will maintain through proper management. Birds that hesitate need extra attention and potentially more deliberate training. Stage 2 is distance training with immediate trap entry expectation. This begins after birds have established loft flying confidence and basic trap familiarity, typically 4 to 6 weeks old for young birds. The protocol is short training tosses, 500 meters to 2 kilometers, with a specific objective of rapid trap entry upon return. This isn't primarily navigation training. This is trap discipline training using short tosses as a vehicle. Execute the toss from short distance in familiar direction. When birds return, observe trap entry behavior carefully and record the time from landing to entry for each bird. This data is critical for tracking progress and identifying birds that need improvement. Target time from landing to trap entry is 5 seconds or less for excellent trap discipline. 3 seconds or less is championship level. 10 to 20 seconds is acceptable but not optimal. 30 seconds or more is poor and needs correction. After each short training toss, analyze the trap entry times. Birds that enter within 5 seconds receive no special intervention. Their trap discipline is good. Continue normal training. Birds that took 10 seconds or more need remedial training. The remedial training is repeating short tosses, 500 meters to 1 kilometer, focusing specifically on trap entry speed rather than distance or navigation difficulty. The short distance ensures high success rate. The focus is entirely on improving trap entry behavior. Some fanciers implement specific trap entry drills separate from training tosses. They catch birds, take them 50 to 100 meters from the loft, release them, and observe trap entry. The very short distance means birds should return in 1 to 2 minutes maximum. All attention focuses on whether they trap immediately or hesitate. Birds that continue showing slow trap entry after multiple short tosses and trap entry drills might have fundamental problems. Poor loft attachment, fear or negative association with trap, physical difficulty entering. Something is preventing rapid entry. Investigate the cause. Is the trap physically intimidating or difficult? Does a bird show fear behaviors? Is there something about the loft environment creating uncertainty? Address the underlying cause rather than just drilling endlessly. Stage 3 is speed conditioning through varying toss distances with consistent trap entry expectations. Once birds are entering quickly from short tosses, maintain that discipline as toss distances increase. As training progresses from 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers and beyond, continue monitoring trap entry speed. Don't accept that longer flights justify slower trap entry. A bird returning from 10 kilometers should trap just as quickly as a bird returning from 1 kilometer. The distance flown doesn't excuse hesitation at the trap. If birds that trap quickly from short tosses start hesitating from longer tosses, this might indicate fatigue, confusion, or stress from the increased distance. Reduce the training distance temporarily, rebuild confidence, then progress more gradually. The trap entry discipline must be maintained regardless of toss distance. Stage 4 is race simulation training to prepare birds for actual race conditions. Training tosses, even longer ones, differ from races in several ways. Training is usually individual loft birds, small groups, released from known locations. Races are large groups of birds from many lofts, released from potentially unfamiliar locations, arriving at lofts where multiple birds might arrive simultaneously. These differences can affect trap entry behavior. A bird that traps quickly when arriving alone from training might hesitate when arriving with multiple other birds in a race. The crowding at landing board or the presence of birds from other lofts can create confusion or competition that slows entry. To prepare for this, execute some training tosses with larger groups of birds, or coordinate with club mates to do joint tosses where birds from multiple lofts are released together. This creates race-like conditions with multiple birds arriving at the general area simultaneously. Birds learn to focus on their own trap and enter decisively even when other birds are present. Also, some training tosses should be from unfamiliar directions or slightly longer than typical training. This introduces mild novelty and challenges birds to maintain trap discipline even when conditions are less familiar. Birds that trap quickly only from familiar, comfortable training situations might struggle in races with unexpected elements. Now let's discuss motivational elements that drive rapid trap entry. Understanding motivation is key to training effective trap discipline. The primary motivation for trap entry is accessing home, food, water, safety, mates, nest, everything comfortable and desirable is inside the loft. Birds should be strongly motivated to get inside as quickly as possible. If this motivation is strong, trap entry is rapid. If this motivation is weak or competing motivations exist, trap entry can be slow. Strengthen the primary motivation by ensuring loft interior is appealing and comfortable. Clean, comfortable conditions, adequate feed and water, appropriate perching and nest boxes, calm social environment. Birds should genuinely prefer being inside to being outside. If loft conditions are poor, birds might be less motivated to enter quickly. The secondary motivation is escape from exterior stress or discomfort. Birds arriving from races or training tosses are tired, thirsty, potentially feeling vulnerable to predators. Getting inside represents relief from these stresses. If exterior environment near the loft is calm and apparently safe, Birds might not feel urgency to enter. If exterior environment seems potentially threatening, urgency increases. Some fanciers deliberately avoid making the exterior loft environment too comfortable. Don't provide perching spots outside the trap where birds can sit comfortably and rest before entering. Don't provide water outside. Don't create conditions where birds can satisfy their needs without entering. Everything desirable should be inside, accessible only through trap entry. The third motivation, competitive or social motivation, comes from seeing other birds entering. When multiple birds arrive, birds that see others entering often follow quickly. Social facilitation drives entry. Solitary birds arriving alone don't have this additional motivation and must rely entirely on their own loft attachment. This means birds that always train and race in groups might not develop as strong individual trap discipline as birds that sometimes train alone. Include some training experiences where individual birds or very small groups are released, teaching birds to trap decisively even without social facilitation. Now let's discuss the critical mistake of chemical cleaning that destroys scent-based trap recognition. This is surprisingly common and significantly impairs trap discipline. Many fanciers, motivated by hygiene and cleanliness, scrub traps with strong soap or disinfectant. They want clean traps free of droppings and debris. The cleaning removes visible dirt but also removes the accumulated scent profile that birds associate with home. A trap that smells like the loft, like wood, like birds, like feed, is recognizable to birds approaching from flight. Even before landing, birds smell familiar scent that confirms this is home. A trap that smells like chemical cleaner doesn't trigger that recognition. Birds land, approach, smell chemicals, and experience moment of uncertainty. This doesn't smell right. Is this home? That uncertainty causes hesitation. The solution is minimal chemical cleaning of trap areas. Remove droppings and debris mechanically using brush or scraper. Rinse with plain water if needed. But avoid soaps, disinfectants, or any strong-smelling cleaners in the immediate trap entrance area. If deep cleaning is necessary for health reasons, do it well before racing season, weeks in advance, so the natural loft scent has time to re-establish. Don't clean traps with chemicals during racing season or shortly before important races. Some fanciers actively maintain scent by placing absorbent material from the loft interior, cloth or wood shavings, in the trap area. This material carries concentrated loft scent. When cleaned or replaced, new material from the loft interior replaces it, maintaining consistent scent profile. Now let's discuss trap discipline maintenance during racing season. Trap discipline isn't established once and maintained automatically. It requires ongoing attention. Monitor trap entry times throughout the season. After each race or training toss, note which birds entered quickly and which hesitated. If birds that previously trapped well start hesitating, something has changed. Investigate possible causes. Common causes of declining trap discipline during season include accumulated fatigue making birds less confident or decisive, minor injuries like foot problems making landing or walking on landing board uncomfortable, changes to trap or loft appearance causing uncertainty, increased stress from race pressure or loft environment changes, weakened loft attachment from excessive handling or disruption. Address problems as soon as you notice trap discipline declining. Don't wait until it becomes a severe problem. Immediate intervention prevents small issues from becoming major obstacles. The intervention might be rest, reducing racing frequency to allow recovery from fatigue. It might be treating injuries or health issues. It might be restoring loft stability by reducing disruptions. It might be rebuilding loft attachment through additional short training tosses. Diagnose the specific cause and address it specifically. Some birds show inconsistent trap discipline. trapping quickly some days and slowly other days. This inconsistency often indicates that the bird's confidence or motivation fluctuates based on conditions. Maybe the bird traps quickly when conditions are familiar and comfortable, but hesitates when conditions are slightly different. These birds need exposure to variety during training to build robust trap discipline that persists regardless of minor variations in conditions. Now let's discuss the 5-second standard and why it matters. 5 seconds from landing to trap entry is a threshold between good and excellent trap discipline. Understanding why this matters helps motivate rigorous training. In competitive club racing, birds often arrive clustered, multiple birds from different lofts within minutes of each other. The difference between first and 10th position might be 3 to 5 minutes total time over a 100-kilometer race. Within that tight competition, every second the trap matters enormously. A bird that lands and traps in 3 seconds versus a bird that lands and traps in 30 seconds loses 27 seconds purely to trap discipline. 27 seconds can be 10 to 20 positions in tight competition. That's the difference between winning and being middle of the pack. Championship-level birds trap in 3 seconds or less consistently. Louis van der Velde's birds were famous for lightning-fast trap entry. They landed, walked directly to entrance, entered immediately. No hesitation, no circling, no distraction. This reflexive immediate entry was trained systematically through years of proper trap discipline development and maintenance. You can develop the same discipline in your birds through systematic training focused specifically on trap behavior. The training isn't mysterious or complicated. It's deliberate reinforcement of rapid entry behavior through repetition, reward, and maintenance of optimal trap conditions. Now let's discuss special situations and problem solving. Problem: bird enters trap but then exits immediately and won't re-enter. This usually indicates the bird doesn't yet recognize trap entry as final destination. The bird enters exploratively, doesn't find what it's looking for, exits. Solution is ensuring loft interior immediately inside trap has appealing elements: feed, water, comfortable perching. Also ensure trap mechanism doesn't trap bird. Allowing exit if desired reduces entry anxiety. Problem: bird lands on landing board but won't enter, just walks around. This indicates uncertainty or fear about the entrance itself. Solution is making entrance less intimidating, larger opening, smoother mechanism, better lighting inside so bird can see through entrance. Also check for anything blocking or partially obstructing entrance that creates visual confusion. Problem: bird approaches loft, sees trap, then flies away and circles again. This indicates weak loft attachment or negative association with trap. Solution is rebuilding loft attachment through extended loft flying sessions without pressure and checking for negative experiences. Was bird injured or frightened at trap previously? That created avoidance. Problem: bird traps quickly in training but slowly in races. This indicates race conditions create stress or uncertainty that doesn't exist in training. Solution is race simulation training, larger groups, unfamiliar directions, joint tosses with other lofts to desensitize bird to race conditions. Problem: bird that previously trapped well suddenly starts hesitating. This indicates something changed. Check for physical problems: foot injury, vision issue, health problem. Check for environmental changes. Was trap painted? Was loft modified? Were new objects placed near trap? Check for social problems. Is bird being bullied by loft mates? Identify and address the change. Now let's discuss the championship perspective on trap discipline. Top fanciers universally emphasize trap speed as critical to racing success. Leo Heremans' statement that trap speed is more important than wing speed was an exaggeration. He understood that all the breeding, feeding, training, and conditioning mean nothing if birds don't trap immediately. His birds were trained to trap reflexively. The instant they landed, they entered. No thought, no hesitation, pure automatic behavior. This reflexive trap entry came from years of systematic reinforcement starting from the bird's first loft flying experiences. Every training toss, every race, every return home reinforced immediate entry. Birds that showed hesitation received remedial training. Birds that trapped quickly were the ones that continued racing. Over time, the entire loft culture was birds that trapped instantly as automatic behavior. Louis van der Velde similarly emphasized trap discipline. His loft design, trap visibility, landing board configuration, everything was optimized to facilitate rapid entry. His training included specific trap entry drills. His monitoring included recording trap times and addressing problems immediately. Nothing was left to chance or assumed to develop naturally. These championship approaches weren't obsessive perfectionism. They were recognition that competitive racing is decided by margins of seconds. Trap discipline determines those seconds more directly than almost any other factor. The bird that traps fastest, all else equal, wins. You can implement the same systematic approach. You can train your bird to trap reflexively within seconds. You can monitor and maintain trap discipline throughout racing season. You can eliminate the wasted minutes that currently cost you race positions. The system is clear. Optimize physical trap setup with visibility, appropriate size, smooth mechanism, and familiar scent. Train systematically through introduction with positive association, short distance training with entry time recording, progressive distance training maintaining discipline, and race simulation training. Monitor continuously and address problems immediately. Maintain through season by preserving conditions and addressing any decline promptly. The 5-second standard is achievable. Championship 3-second trap entry is achievable. It requires deliberate training and maintenance, but it's within reach for any fancier willing to focus systematically on this critical skill. Your birds might fly beautifully. They might navigate perfectly. They might have excellent endurance and speed. But if they don't trap immediately, all those qualities don't translate to winning race positions. The clock measures trap entry, not landing. Make sure your bird crosses the finish line, through the trap entrance, faster than everyone else's birds. Trap discipline is trainable. Hesitation is correctable. Speed is achievable. The techniques are proven. The results are measurable. Implement the system and watch your trap times drop from 30 seconds to 10 seconds to 5 seconds to 3 seconds. That transformation, from slow, hesitant trap entry to rapid, reflexive entry, is a difference between hoping for good results and consistently achieving them. That transformation is what separates fanciers who lose race positions at the trap from fanciers who gain race positions through superior trap discipline. Train the trap, build the speed, create the obedience, and watch every bird enter immediately, every time, adding seconds to your competitor's times and minutes to your competitive advantage. The trap is the finish line. Make sure your bird crosses it first. That's how races are won. That's how championships are built. That's what systematic trap training delivers. 3 seconds from landing to entry. That's the goal. That's the standard. That's what champions achieve. Make it your standard too.